I'll carefully proofread and correct the grammar and spelling errors while maintaining the story, events, and length. Here's the revised version. I never wanted the farm. I told her that the very first time she mentioned it. It's nothing you'd care for, she said, brushing my questions aside. The tone wasn't casual. It was final. So, I didn't press. I didn't pry. A husband learns when to stay quiet. But I remembered how her eyes flickered just for a second when I asked why. Fear disguised as irritation. I let it go at the time. Years later, when the lawyer slid the heavy brass keys across his desk, I almost laughed. It's yours now, he said. She left it to you. I wanted to sell it, turn it into cash, and bury the memory of her stubborn refusals with her. But something gnawed at me. A door slammed shut in childhood has a way of echoing long after. So I drove. Gravel crunching under the tires. Silence pressing against the windshield. By the time I reached the farmhouse, dusk had lowered itself like a curtain. The lock turned too easily, as if it had been waiting. The smell hit first, damp, metallic, familiar in the way blood is familiar. Then my eyes adjusted, and I lost my breath. Cages lined the walls. Not for animals. For people. Chains bolted to the floor, a chair in the center, leather straps worn from struggle, tools laid out on the steel table, surgical, precise, cruel. Her farm had been her secret, and her secret was horror. You don't spend 20 years with someone without learning the texture of their lies. I thought I knew all of hers. The late nights explained by work, the trips to check on the farm, the locked ledger in her study I never saw her open. But here was proof. She had lived a double life. A predator in silk dresses sitting across from me at dinner, asking how my day had been. And the worst part, the faces. Photographs taped to the walls. Men, women, even children. Not strangers. People I knew. People from our town who had vanished without answers. Their eyes frozen in snapshots stared into me. I sank into that chair, her chair, and let the weight of it crush my lungs. She had forbidden me from this place because she knew. If I ever saw, her kingdom would fall. Grief became rage. Rage sharpened into something colder, something that cut both ways. Revenge. I didn't shout. I didn't tell anyone. That would have been sloppy. Instead, I started small. I searched the house for records, and I found them hidden in a false panel behind her wardrobe. Ledger after ledger of her work, names, dates, methods, even payments from clients who enjoyed watching. It was a business. She wasn't just killing. She was selling. I scanned every page, copied every file. My hands shook, but my mind was steady. Then I went back to town, and I waited. Her family came sniffing after the will. The farm was worth money, and they thought it belonged to them. Greedy, smug, entitled. They had always looked down on me, the quiet husband, the obedient shadow. They didn't know what I knew. So I invited them over. We should talk about the inheritance, I said. At the farm. They came dressed in black, feigning grief. Their eyes already on the land, the value, the profit. I led them inside. I let them smell it, see it, feel it. One of them screamed. Another vomited. The youngest whispered, "What? What is this?" I didn't answer. I just handed them copies of the ledger. Their faces drained, panic spreading like fire. Because there it was, in black and white. Not only her crimes, but their names. Payments traced back to them, visits scheduled. The family business wasn't farming. It was cruelty. They turned on each other instantly. I never, you told me, she promised no one would ever know. I watched, silent, calm. Every accusation tore them apart. Every denial pulled the noose tighter. Then I spoke. Your empire is finished. I left them there, screaming in the dark, surrounded by the ghosts they had helped create. By morning, the files were already in the hands of the police, the press, and the victims' families. I had timed it perfectly. Their downfall wasn't quiet. It was public, televised, irreversible. The trial was chaos. Her brothers swore they were framed. Her sister wept, begging for mercy. But the evidence was iron: financial records, DNA traces in the cages, testimonies from families finally given the truth. I sat in the back of the courtroom, hands folded, a grieving husband playing his role. No one suspected my hand in orchestrating it. Why would they? I was the man who had lost his wife, the man who had inherited her curse. When the verdicts came down, guilty, 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 I didn't smile. I didn't need to. Their eyes found me anyway, burning with hatred, with recognition. They knew. I had become the ghost that haunted them. Sometimes at night, I returned to the farm. Not to relive, but to remember. The cages are gone, the tools confiscated, but the silence remains, thick as ever. I stand in the doorway where I first lost my breath, and I inhale slowly, steady now. The air no longer smells of blood. Only dust and endings. She thought she could keep her secrets buried in these walls. She thought death would silence the truth. But I was patient. I was precise. I turned her forbidden kingdom into her family's grave. Do I regret it? No. Regret is for the powerless. I had lived under her rules for too long, blind to the monster sharing my bed. She forbade me from entering this place because she knew one glimpse would shatter everything. And she was right. I shattered it all. Now the farm is mine. Empty, yes, but clean. Sometimes I wonder if I should sell it, but then I think, no. It should stay. Not as a prison, not as a secret, but as a monument. To betrayal, to revenge, to the simple truth that in the end, the last breath is mine.